Can you tell us just what it was like growing up in Compton, and maybe lead into how you got into football? Things of that nature?
Yeah, definitely. Pleasure to be here, man. Yeah, we, growing up, man, being the only guy of my skin tone, basically, in Compton, basically was a challenge, man. I think it toughened my skin. I think it made me who I am today. I think people call me a chameleon for a reason. I think I can blend with any walk of life, basically. I've been everywhere and recruited every type of kid in every type of neighborhood. So I think real recognizes real. I think real recognizes real, and I think people understand, if this guy worthy of my home or my neighborhood to recruit me or not, you know what I mean? Or just in the streets in general. So I've been drugged through the mud, and I've drugged people through the mud. It's kind of a dog eat dog world. So, it's the strongest survive where I'm from, man. And so making it through that, I think, has made me who I am today. And you either gangbanged and sold drugs or you play sports where I'm from. So that's where I made that right turn at the stop sign instead of making the left turn. And that's what made me who I am today. And that's why I chose sports. And I wanted to be a leader, not a follower. So I chose to go that route. And if I made a left, I'd be dead or in jail and probably wouldn't affect the hundreds of kids' lives that I have.
What are the challenges of being a white guy and growing up in Compton? Like, what is it?
Man, I never had an issue because black women basically raised me, taught me how to, people might look at me crazy, but shit, taught me how to steal candy from the ice cream truck and taught me how to survive, man, and play hide and go get it and all the things that we grew up in the neighborhood playing. And so, it's just one of those deals. But I never was really challenged. I mean, I was challenged throughout my life because of where I grew up. It wasn't because I was white, I don't believe. I think everybody knew who I was and accepted me. I was the only white kid on the block, or in the city probably at the time. And I think it was just white, black, or indifferent. It didn't matter. I think there's idiots come in all shapes, sizes, and colors, man. You know what I mean? And so I think it was just a competitive era I grew up in, and it was like I said, a dog-eat-dog world, and we challenged each other every day, man. And whether it was in the street playing basketball or just trying to get the female, you know what I mean? It's just one of those deals. So it was a competitive atmosphere, man, environment that we lived in. So growing up in it, my dad grew up there, it was all white. And so the demographic changed probably right before the Watts riots, and then the Watts riots hit in August of 66, I believe, and it became a predominant black neighborhood, and now it's predominantly Hispanic. So it's just changed, and it is what it is. But I think it made me who I am today.
For sure, and was I think sports are generally escape for everyone. Was football your escape? Was that mentally, physically, everything?
Oh yeah, it was football field was my sanctuary, man. It was my right where I wanted to be, and I think it allowed me to sleep at night, basically. You know what I mean? Because I've seen so much bad shit during the day, and I would see, one of my best friends get his head shot off on my chest, brain matter and skull fragments on me, and at a buddy of our liquor store, you know what I mean? And so I seen all that shit, man, and it was just like, let me coach some kids up and mentor some kids where that shit don't happen. And although I probably had 12 or 13 teammates get killed that I played with in college, I haven't had a kid die that I coached quite just yet, in any type of, dramatic fashion anyway. So no murder or anything like that. But a lot of the guys that I played with, though. So, from kids getting their heads cut off to being hung up or hanged in the project. So I wanted to coach some kids up and teach them, how not to do shit too.
As well, have all those experiences? It almost seems like they pointed you in the trajectory where you could impact people the most, which maybe you could argue is actually JuCo more than D1. Is that accurate?
Oh yeah, it's tenfold, man. Put it this way, there's not a Division I coach that wants to coach JuCo. not only because of the money, obviously, and saying obviously the resources and shit, but there's a lot of guys that have gone from JuCo to D1 that'll tell you they'll never go back, or it's the most challenging level of football, period. I don't care what people say. I think from Coach Saban to Pete Carroll, I think they'll all tell you the same thing. JuCo is different. You got to deal with kids with babies and, getting kids that are broken. Make no mistake about it, these kids are broken. I got to massage them and get them back to another 4-year school where they don't get kicked out of the 4-year school. So I got to be, my world is harder than it is at the 4-year level, so they don't get kicked out or go to jail. And out of 220 kids I've sent Division I, I've never had a kid get kicked out of a 4-year or go to jail under my watch. So far it's working.
And would you say it's fair to say that you almost become a father figure to some of these kids?
To answer that question, man, we had 200 kids a year we bring in. Last year alone, we had 200 kids. 2 of them had both parents in the home. 2 out of 200. So if you do the math on that, I'm a father to 198 of those fuckers, you know what I mean? And so it is what it is, man. Those kids don't have a father figure, and I'm going to be honest with you. Me and Ray Lewis and Eddie George were talking about this one night. It's biologically impossible for a woman to raise a man in the proper way that a boy needs raised. I mean, it just says it's not possible. God bless the mothers of the world that are single and do it themselves and work 2 jobs, 3 jobs, raise 3, 4 kids. Mostly the kid that's the oldest is the kid that plays for me. But God bless them, man, but they can't do what a man can do. Because a man can teach a boy how to treat a woman. A woman can't teach that. And they think they can, but they don't know what they don't know. And they only know what they know, kids nowadays, you know what I mean? So you got to teach them that. And I believe a coach is a teacher, and the definition of a coach is to get you where you could not get yourself. And I think that goes for players and coaches alike, you know what I mean? That was my job. I got 17 coaches' jobs. I got 101 kids Division I jobs in 3 years. It's just one of those deals where it's just a result-oriented business, and you got to turn over rocks, and you got to, there's no real gray area in college football, man. You either graduate your kid, you get them a scholarship, you win, or you lose.
And the media has focused a lot on the negative stories, or creating negative stories about you. I want to ask you about some of the positive stories. What are some of the kids that you are proud of help turning around their life and their situation?
So many, man. You know what I mean? You can only save one kid, man. You know what I mean? People think you can save them all. I've got a lot of coaches, young coaches, I used to tell them every day, quit trying to save them all. You're going to get gray hair. You're gonna spread yourself very thin, and you're going to be out this business very shortly. You can only save one of them. And I think over the years of 20 years or whatever, I think I've saved hundreds. But it really is one at a time after I learned the hard way. And these kids will lie, they'll steal, they'll cheat, they'll tell you every single thing, and you'll love them to death, and they'll break your fucking heart. You know what I mean? And that's what they are, and they don't know better. And, you can't ever blame a kid because they only know what they know. And so, now that I learned that years ago, and now that I'm that way, I save one at a time. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, on the 2 years, we saved 101 of them. Got them jobs, Division I scholarships and 17 coaches' jobs. So we saved quite a few guys, but there's a lot that we didn't save. You know what I mean? And over the years, man, I had a great kid, man, that played for me at Chaffey College out here in California, junior college, and went to jail for stealing cars. I got him out of that, and the judge believed me I was going to take care of him and got him going. And now he's in jail again for life, you know what I mean? And then that's a kid that just didn't get it, man, and you can't save them all, you know what I mean? And so he didn't go to college. He didn't want to do it after he left me. And then I guess a couple years ago, this was back in 2008, 9, a couple years ago, I guess he went to jail. So, like, some kids don't get it, they don't want to get it, and, you can't beg them, man. You can't coach effort, and you can't want it more than they want it. And if you do those two things, you got to probably get out of the business.
Makes sense. Is it emotionally draining, and is it almost heartbreaking when you see a kid go the other way as well?
Oh yeah, definitely. It is, man, because you put a lot of stock in it. You know, you raise them, you go recruit them. You recruit these kids. You tell their parents, their mother usually, that you're going to get them a scholarship. You're going to graduate their baby. That you're going to get them. You're going to get these things done for them. And then what happens is they go to the left, and you don't fulfill those promises, and the broken promises. There's nothing worse than a broken promises as a grown man to me, and that's why I'll never promise something that I can't come through with. And so that's why I tell these kids, I say, I told your mother this, and this, but your fucking ass is the one that's got to go to class. Your ass has got to want this more than me. I can teach you and coach you up, and I could guide you to the shit, but I can't want it more than you. I'm not waking your ass up in the morning, and if alarm clock is the only reason you wake up, you got a fucking problem. You know what I mean? So I put that everywhere. Because we had a kid, Bobby Bruce, who could not wake up. I told him, I said, do not let an alarm clock be the only fucking reason you wake up. Because I never had an alarm clock. To this day, at 43, I've never used an alarm to wake up. Never in my life. Wow. And that's a true story. And I go to bed, wheels turning, thinking about how I'm going to beat someone's ass tomorrow. Or how I'm going to get this recruit, or how I'm going to beat this guy in the coaching world, Or as a player, I woke up trying to go work out and be better. And I think that the era has changed, and I don't think that kids realize, man, that hard work, determination, dedication is what it's about. It's not about everybody fucking handing me something, because that's what it is now. So, and it ain't the kid's fault. Let's just go further. Everyone's blaming the kid, man. The kids ain't changed. The fucking parents and the mentors and the coaches have changed. Coaching is soft as shit. Parents are enabled because they only know what they know, and they're doing so many things. Mostly single parents, and we're talking inner city youth, obviously, where I coach. But it's an enabled world we live in, man, because the adult life, it ain't the kids. And so I don't know. We'll see what happens for me going forward.
As as a football coach, you are a motivator.
Gotta be.
How do you motivate someone that doesn't have motivation? Can that person be motivated?
It depends.
It's very psychological as well.
It depends, man. I do a thing that I like to call shock treating. I like to say I shock treat someone, and I think hopefully you got to have the it factor first of all. Let's be honest. A good coach has it. A good quarterback has it. I say to people all the time. I mean, Tony Romo was probably a top 5 skill set quarterback of all time, but he never won a fucking playoff game because I think it takes the it factor to do something special. Bill Belichick has the it factor. You know what I mean? Andy Reid's a great fucking coach, but so far he hasn't got that done. So, is it the it factor that's missing? I don't know, but I think you have to have it in order to be successful, or at least at an elitist level. And I think you got to have the it factor, and I think it takes that at least to shock treat a kid into getting him to believe in himself, first of all. If he don't believe in himself, then we're pissing up his heel. But if he does, at least you can get him to the next level by fucking with his mind, at least, to get him to understand, okay, there's bigger things out there, and there's nothing in this world worse than a waste of talent, in my opinion. So.
Well, for a kid like Bobby Bruce, when a kid leaves you, do you still try and keep tabs on him, look out for him?
Yeah, definitely I do, man. I still love all those kids, man. They know that. It's never personal, man. Coaches I fire or fire themselves, basically, is what I call it, or kids that get cut themselves, basically. I think they take it personal. And it ain't personal, it's a business, because when they get older, they'll understand it too. But at the time, they all want to be pissed off and this and that. But the guys that get it, man, are the ones the 101 kids that are playing D1 right now, and they're playing on SEC Network, Pac-12, and Big 12, and Big 10, and ACC and SEC, because they got it. And they didn't get it when they got there. They came in, and like I said, man, a lot of these kids don't have father figures. They don't have parents. So what happens when they come in? What happens when they come in contact with a male mentor? They They're standoffish. They want to fight everything. I don't know you. I don't know this man. Man did me dirty. So guess what? There's going to be a rift there for a while. But once he buys in and understands you're for him, the DJ Williams of the world, who's a Jim Thorpe Award nominee this year at Utah State, Raheem Boyd, who's a Doak Walker Award nominee this year at Arkansas. Those kids, man, are guys that bought in and got the shit done. You know, Coy Dang, Pac-12 Player of the Week for Cal last week. You know, those guys, Delrick Abrams at Colorado, Calvin Jackson at Washington State, those guys got it. And in the beginning, they had all F's and they'll suck their teeth and lazy. They fucking bought in, and now look where they are, man. And those are the guys that you're most proud of that make it when they didn't know their ass from a hole in the wall. You know what I mean?
Now, obviously, Last Chance U has been a massive cultural phenomenon. How has your life changed since you know you appeared on the show? From when you were just coaching as a regular coach?
This public figure shit, man. You guys could have that shit. It's become crazy, man. This public figure thing. I mean, it's quite daunting at times, but it's a great thing too, man, because I love touching little kids in a way that they've never had a guy that they think is a star, and I'm like, man, I'm just a regular Joe, man. I'm nobody, and they want an autograph or a picture, and I'm just like, fuck, I'll never turn that down, you know what I mean? Because I've had asshole celebrities and shit when I was young, growing up in LA, obviously, Hollywood, and you see everybody, and you dudes walk by you and shit, and I'm like, all right, and you know, and so I would never be that way, and that's why I've never turned down an interview or a call or anything like that I could get, and it's become daunting, but at the same time, man, all I have is my integrity, man, and my unique realism, so to speak, you know what I mean? So as long as I keep that intact, man, I can sleep at night.
For sure. And tell us about the book as well that came out.
Hate Me Now, Love Me Later. You know, it's 5 weeks in a row, I think, bestseller, #1 bestseller. It's been a splash. It's been overwhelming, man. I never thought it would be as good as it is or well received as it is. And you know, it's been a great run, and it's a great book, man, I think for all walks of life can enjoy it. You don't have to be a football coach. You can be an average Joe or a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. I've talked to them all. They all like certain chapters, and I believe that it's a great book for all. And I kept it stupid simple, the KISS model, and you know, it's a short read, but it's very informative. I think you can get something out of it. And it's on Amazon, it's on Barnes & Noble, it's on Kindle, and you can purchase it. And you know, I'm doing so many different little little different things, man. I got this Cameo deal. I don't know if you know what that is, but Cameo is a video. You can request a video from me, and Snoop Dogg and Brett Favre, everybody's doing it, and so that's another way to get a hold of me, and it's a good deal too, man. So it's been different, man. It's been you know, very, very well received, obviously, globally, and so you know, probably the biggest show on the show on Netflix, and you know, just happy to be part of it.
Do you think as well that because people that never played football, never were involved in football, were almost shocked at like the language and the things like this, not knowing that this is an everyday thing in football.
Yeah, Nick Saban's over there fucking whispering sweet nothings to his staff and his players. People are just shocked. They don't understand it, man. They don't get it. They really don't get it, and they don't understand that what really goes into this thing. And it's a result-oriented business, man. And these dudes are making millions of dollars, and it's their job to win the game. It's their job to get the recruit. It's their job to graduate that kid. And you think that, okay, it's okay you lost the kid to Georgia. It's okay, coach. No, it ain't. You fucking lost them, motherfucker. You're fired. And that's just the business of it. That's what the business is. And I think these parents, these people that see it, people that play sports understand it. And most women that watch the show are my biggest supporters, the women, because I think they get it and they know. You know, it's you know, and Netflix, they targeted a demographic, 20 to 35, and it was, you know, the older gray hairs are or blue hair, whatever you call them, they probably don't like it and shit. But they're the churchgoers supposedly and all that shit.
Some of them were in the documentary too, right?
Yeah. And I told them at Independence when I took the job, man, they were bitching about me at 5 a.m. in the morning out at the stadium, which is nestled in between houses. And they call the AD and, does it have to be like this? And I said, hey, when it was fucking quiet, you guys were shitty for 30 years. So I said, yeah, it does have to be like this. And I said, the kids I'm bringing in, whispering sweet nothings to them is not going to fucking get them from stopping them to rob McDonald's, Walmart, go to jail, not graduate, different things like that. So it takes a different nudge and push, but it's still, they don't film what I did off the camera. They don't film what we did with those kids, and those kids know. If you can find a kid that bashes me on social media, let me know. I'll pay you money. It ain't gonna happen.
And you mentioned the coaching has gotten soft. Would you mind elaborating on that a bit? And is that particularly with football, or is that just kind of a macro level, like our entire society culture is getting soft?
It's macro level, brother. Yeah. It ain't fucking micro level. It's I believe it's gone soft, man, on so many levels, man. I think it starts at the youth level. The youth level is probably the hardest fucking coaches that we have. And then you got all these helicopter parents who are out there fucking bitching and moaning about their kids' playing time and shit. Then it goes on to high school, and it becomes a fucking, babysitting fucking event where everybody needs to get a trophy and everyone deserves an award. My little Johnny deserves a fucking trophy. I bought pancakes for the fucking booster club, It's like it's result oriented, man. That's part of high school. Like, parents need to understand. You're either all in or you're fucking all out. It ain't no one in, one out. And they don't get it. They think they put a couple dollars in it, their kid needs to play. And it's not that way. And that's when politics start to play in, and then you get all these people bitching. And it's just become a soft culture, man. And it's this generation that we're just fucking in millennials or whatever they are. But we got to call them something. It's fucked up, man. It's just an enabled generation, man. And I think it starts with us as parents and coaches, man. And I think we have to fucking no means no, man. And these kids tell you I know, it's that way. Motherfucker, no, it ain't. You ain't paid a bill yet. And you ain't paid mortgage. You ain't paid a car note. And I think they don't understand that. And I think the coaches kiss their ass so much because they're scared for these kids in high school to transfer, because they're fucking kids playing at 4 high schools in 4 years now. And the coaches just want to get them on their team and they can do whatever the fuck they want. And it's unfortunate. And so that's why I just can't be that way. There's no one bigger than the team, and if you are, you ain't gonna play for me. And so it's just one of those deals.
Speaking of that as well, I did want to ask you about part of the show, Malik Henry. It seemed like you guys had a really good relationship, or at least at certain points. But could you let the people know kind of what happened as far was it a football? Just football didn't add up, or in terms of this past season, in terms of
this past season, man. So I've known Malik a long time. So I know his dad, and I had one of my coaches, my college coaches, his mentor. So we've known each other, families, everything, family, friends, whatever. He this year, man, I was hoping he got a scholarship because he had already graduated, so he could have left and been 3 for 3 at a D1. I think the show did him wrong or he did himself wrong on the show, you know what I mean? But I think he had such a negative connotation with the Division I schools that they were like, we're not gonna fucking take him. And Lane called me, Hawaii, Coach Rolovich called me, so we talked, and it was just, we're not quite there yet. So he's probably gonna have to play again. So, not to say that I had him by the nuts, so to speak, but he could not really fuck up the second time around, or he was going to be fucked. And he came in, and I told him, you're going to come, you're going to be a practice squad guy. And that's truly what it was. It wasn't a bullshit on the show. And he practiced with us for probably 3 or 4 weeks in the summer, the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season. And we fucking had legitimately 4 quarterbacks go down. And it was no bullshit. I had to play him. And obviously he's better than everybody. I mean, first play he threw a 90-yard touchdown. I mean, like shits and giggles, fucking doop on the Garden City, who played for the national title last year. We're up 21-0 like that. And After that, though, man, it was just not right, and my gut wasn't right because he wasn't there all spring. I had other kids there. We recruited a team around being more versatile and spread option, more option, triple option, with a quarterback that I recruited, Jay Jones, and he got hurt and was never the same, and we never were the same. But I was like, you know what? These are the kids I brought in. Malik, you didn't fit this team. This last year was yours. This year's not. And I told him, I said, you know, you can still be on the practice team, but I'm going to move on in another direction. And so, but he still got a scholarship. He's at Nevada playing. You know, he's got 2 years there, and he's an NFL talent. And I hope the shit, man, he makes it. And I love the kid, and hopefully he gets it done.
And I think you commented on this a little bit as well. But is there anything from the series that you feel was represented inaccurately, or you would like to change?
Look, man, Greg Whiteley's a hell of a guy, the producer of the show, and he knows how I feel about him and how I feel about everything. He's a great filmmaker. He's a great producer. He does a great job, and his crew's great. But I think when this world we live in, like you, this is a hands-on, experience-based world we live in. It ain't about a piece of fucking paper from a school that says you got a degree that you paid $100,000 for, that you have to pay $600,000 back for. You never make the money back. It's all a scam. We know it is. But to me, it's you know, he didn't have the experience dealing with junior college kids, junior college coaches, the intricacies, the moving parts of a junior college, and I think this show he'll probably even be better because he's learning, and he's learned there's things you do, and you know they don't show the kids coming in my office talking to four-year schools, Division I, big-time head coaches, and those head coaches telling my athletic director, there's no JuCo in the world that the kids come in, their pants are pulled up, they shake our hand, look us in the eye, they take off their headgear, and they know how to speak. And I said, I know JB coaches that and teaches that, and that's what we do on Mondays. That's just like what the NFL does on Tuesdays. I did it on Mondays, which is our off day. So, you know, every coach that comes out there, man, those kids shake their hand when they walk off the field. Every single kid. They're going to shake their head. They're going to shake the four-year school's hands because every fucking day is an interview. And those kids don't realize, coaches too, you too, me too, right now you don't know what the CEO of this place might want to hire you. I mean, it's just every day is an interview, and I think that that goes really, really unrecognized, man, because you know, these kids not knowing those things and never being coached up and taught those things, they put their future immediately in someone else's hands, and if they're not the CEO of themselves, basically their future's in someone else's hands, and they're going to get fucked. And that's just the unfortunate part of this world. And like I said, it's a dog-eat-dog world, and these kids don't know what they don't know.
I think that's a brilliant quote. Every day is an interview.
No doubt. It's in my book, man, and it's a chapter in my book, and I've been speaking at high schools about it, and you know, I truly believe it, and I tell everybody that, coaches, players, everybody, every day is an interview, man, and it's true. And I think regardless of what you do or where you're at, man, the eye in the sky don't lie, and that's an old adage that football coaches use when we film practice. But it's an eye in the sky don't lie in the real world either, man. When you're being watched every day by who knows, you know what I mean? So.
Paying college athletes.
Yeah, I just did a thing on Pac-12 Network with them. Did you read that?
I did see that. Yeah, I'll check that out. Obviously this state has just passed some, well, I don't know if it's passed yet, but they've started the process of some transformational legislation. Do you think is that the start here? Are we at the starting point? And how do you personally feel about what we should do?
Well, if I ran the NCAA, first of all, I'd make every single fucking kid go to junior college. 1 year. 1 year. I don't believe you'd have the domestic violence. I don't believe you'd have the kids getting kicked out of the four-year schools as you have right now. I think they would come to my place, which is football jail. That's what my fucking place is. They'll come to football jail, and they know they have to get out of it. And so they'll come, they'll get out of it, and then they'll go to the Taj Mahal of football, wherever it may be, Alabama, wherever, and see, fuck, what I really have, what I had and what I have. And I think they would recognize that and know that it's they're in a fortunate situation now compared to where they were with me. And I think it toughens their skin, and I don't believe they would do the stupid shit that they do. And you got 17-year-old kids, man. Malik Henry went to Florida State as a 17-year-old kid. People don't realize how many of us would have did that shit and not got kicked out. We don't know. So, like, let's teach them up and let's coach our babies up. You know, that's just what it is.
It's almost too soon, right? For the kid, like the maturation process isn't there.
Yeah, that's why they were the only sport that takes 3 years to get drafted. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not. It's so you know, people don't realize. Do you know what football is? Do you know what it's considered, classified as? So basketball is classified as
It's gladiators.
Well, basketball is classified as what? Contact sport. Baseball is a no-contact sport.
Yeah.
Football is a collision sport. It's not a contact.
Yeah.
Fucking LeBron James going for a layup getting hit is not fucking Fletcher Cox hitting you 20 miles an hour with 10 pounds of gear on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's only 2 collision sports in the world, man. It's football and NASCAR racing, and those are the only 2 classified collision sports there are. And you know, people don't realize, man, it's a fucking tough sport. You know what I mean? And I don't think that. I think people think that it's supposed to be this fucking tag football deal, and it's not no more. So I don't know. It's changed.
With these potential NCAA changes as well, do you?
Everybody needs to get paid. I think. You got to think about it. I told Greg Wiley, he asked me this question. College football players and college football, period, facilitate, keep the lights on at the universities. They create libraries, computer labs, academic buildings, tutoring labs.
They fund the whole thing.
The NCAA, the BCS bowl games, they're getting paid millions of dollars to go to these games. I mean, if it wasn't for football players, there wouldn't be these gorgeous universities. I'm just going to be honest. So, you know, people that say they shouldn't be paid are really foolish. I mean, to me, I think they're crazy because the money that those kids are bringing, like the old movie, The Program, man. The last time I heard, there wasn't 100,000 people coming to watch a fucking chemistry exam. You know what I mean? And that's just the truth. They're coming to watch those kids play on Saturdays, and they're not coming to watch math tests be taken. You know what I mean? And those kids are the ones bringing the money in. They bring the revenue. I mean, look what they're selling gear. They're selling tickets. I mean, it's just unbelievable to me that they think they shouldn't be paid.
Well, particularly when you factor in, you know, just the injuries and you know.
What do they get? What does the NCAA give them? I mean, nothing. You get 5 years, 10 semesters, 5 years on a scholarship. You get hurt year 2, and your NFL career is done. That's why they're getting all these people now with insurances and all. So you get your NFL career is done, your money's done. They're not paying you. Hopefully you can be a GA maybe if you can fit in, but you know, it's no guarantee. And the kid's fucked. And hopefully you can continue to go to school, but the kids get screwed, and you know, they don't really get anything guaranteed. So football period is a non-guaranteed deal. The NFL is the lowest paid professional sport. I mean, it's because we wear a helmet. We don't have the marketability. You know, if Will Shields walked in here right now, would you know who he was? Probably not. He's an O-lineman that fucking probably the greatest guard of all time, him and Larry Allen, and you wouldn't know who he was. You know what I mean? And you probably won't know 95% of NFL players. You won't know them. You'll know fucking Cam Newton, Aaron Rodgers, and Mahomes. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of people you'll know. And it's because we wear a helmet. We don't get the ads. We don't get the commercials that basketball, baseball get. And unfortunate, but
I've had this conversation many times. Do you feel like the NFL is just great at marketing itself, but not its players? And what do you think could be done to change that? As far, I mean, you see how big the NBA is getting? Like these players are legit. You have bench players that have superstar followings. You
$50 million.
Yeah.
Look, man, Roger Goodell is a fucking puppet in a circus. And he's the puppet master, man. And the NFL owners are who runs the NFL because that's what it is. They own those 32 white dudes run the NFL. They run Roger Goodell, and Roger Goodell makes all this fucking money, and he's trying to prevent CTE and all these things. Where was CTE when I played, or when these other guys played? I don't remember being around. It's simple science, man. Put a fucking mouthpiece in and wear a thigh pad, and I bet you 90% of concussions go bye-bye. I'm telling you. I know that because when I played, I know that we had doctors come in, and this new era doesn't wear mouthpieces like we did, and they don't wear thigh pads no more. So when a helmet hits a thigh pad, you know how fucking hard your femur is? The femur ain't losing. And there's more concussions, man, and little things that go unnoticed than you think. And people don't realize that. They don't want to talk about it because changing the game is for the bureaucratic politician that they fear getting sued by. And that's why they're going to change the game. Kickoff and kickoff return. Hitting the quarterback, who's the main money maker, protecting the merchandise, man. That's what they're doing. These guys are the merchandise. If Aaron Rodgers gets hurt, they're going to lose a lot of money. And the views wouldn't be as what they are tonight if Aaron Rodgers wasn't playing. So, I mean, NFL's protecting its merchandise, and I don't think they market their merchandise at all. And it's unfortunate, man. A lot of guys are broke now after giving their blood, sweat, and tears up for these guys, and we get a little $60,000, $70,000 pension a year if you play 3 or 4 years. So, I don't know. Is it worth it? I don't know.
Well, was it worth it for you?
Yeah, I don't regret anything because I took the rearview mirror out of my car, man, because fucking every time I look in the rearview mirror, I fucking lose track of what's ahead of me. So I said, fuck looking backwards, man. I'm going to only look forward. And so my thing is I'm going to be like, I'll never regret anything. So I regardless of what I did, good, bad, or indifferent, I'm going to keep pushing forward. And I love football got me an education, it got me a few degrees, and I tell these kids, man, let football pay for your education, because at the end of the day, you got a better fucking chance of winning the lotto than you do making an NFL roster. And so not everybody's going to play in the NFL, and so those are some of the things that go a little bit unnoticed.
All right, I don't want to keep you too much longer. Is there what I know you're going on the book tour. Let the people know what is next. What can we expect from you? I'm assuming at some point you're going to want to get back into the coaching ranks. What's the next move here?
I don't know, man. To answer your question, I don't know. I don't have a burning desire to coach right now at this moment. I don't. People might say, "Oh, bullshit," but I'm telling you, I don't have a burning desire at this moment to coach. I do. That don't mean I won't. But I still love talking to kids. I've been clinicking coaching staffs. I've been doing those type of things. I'm gonna go on a book tour, starting in San Diego, California, on October 12th, and then I'm gonna shoot down south. We're gonna go to like Texas, Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia. We're gonna hit some of those games and those places, and then we'll have a book tour, and we'll see how it goes, man. We're gonna jump around to some college bars and do a book signing, and let the people know that like me, let them come see me, and I appreciate all the fan support, and we'll have a hell of a time. But at this moment, besides that, I don't know. We'll see what road I travel next,
And one last one for you is there anything that people don't know about you or perceive about you from the Netflix series or just in general that you would like them to know about you that maybe they didn't pick up on?
I don't know, man. I mean, they filmed me for 6,000 hours, and you saw 16 hours of my life. You know what I mean? They don't show that I tell the kids to raise their hand and tell me. I ask them, whoever has a mother in this room, raise their hand. They raise their hand. They all have a mother. And I said, then I better never hear the word bitch come out your mouth. And if you watch the show, you don't see my kids really saying the N-word, calling girls bitches. We teach those things, man, and a lot of people don't realize that, and the four-year schools know that, and that's why my kids go to the four-year and excel. So, I don't need I owe no one nothing but those kids and those coaches, and that's what allows me to sleep at night. I really don't care what the public's perception is of me, as long as I know those kids know what I am and they know what I've done for them. And that's why you see them defend me on social media, because they know the real, and the real recognizes real. And, you know, they only filmed a couple hours of me that the world got to see. Unfortunately, they don't show a lot of the other things, but it is what it is. I got broad shoulders. It is what it is. I accepted it. It's just, I guess I'll be the sacrificial lamb, so to speak. But, you know, I'm as real as it gets. I'm as real as you saw on the show, and I'm never going to be different. But I don't run around fucking Walmart cussing out little babies. So, contrary to belief.
Coach Brown, we appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
No doubt. Appreciate you.